me online now, the illest. I get on from time to time. But when I was younger, I was riding the wave of this new technology, this gaming technology. And oh, by the way, now you're seeing a lot of what gamers, right, were immersed with 10 years ago. Now it's becoming mainstream in terms of technology for everybody else. But I was amazed at the level of racism, right, that was thrown at me online. Literally. People would pick up on the fact that I was a brother. I guess they could tell from my voice or whatever. They could hear that swag. And, white kids, white males would be hurling insults, the N-word. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I would vanquish some Gilligan on an online game. To me, it's nothing more than mindless disengagement, right? And people would say things to me like, at least I'm not black. I was amazed. If you Google it right now, like racism in online gaming, dozens of articles will come, if not hundreds. And I don't know if it's still the same way, okay? When it was new, there were a lot of people that were using the anonymity, right? They were inside their house, in front of their Xbox, on their televisions, right? To project their racism or whatever their feelings were about other people, okay? So I kind of knew that there was some real issue. And we're talking about younger people. I mean, where do young people learn this? You're 15 years old. You're 16 years old. You're playing an online game. Why are you talking racist? Where are they learning this? It must be their environment. It must be their parents. So I always knew that we didn't live in a post-racial America. But Donald Trump, he is legitimizing some very dangerous elements in this country. I'm not surprised. You saw a photojournalist from Time Magazine. He got choke slammed. Now, that was a member of the Secret Service. You've seen at least one black man was basically forcibly taken out of a Trump rally very, very early on, right? Because of what he had to say, talking about that Black Lives Matter stuff. It's been amazing just how much anger is out there because of Black Lives Matter. I just don't understand it. I don't get it. She went here more. Carutha writes, good morning, fam. Brown skin checking in. Good morning, Carutha. Appreciate you. Good morning, Corey. Wanda. Brent writes, start in Louisville with that sister who got bullied and pushed around by the Trump supporters. That's right. Carlene, good morning to you. Good morning. Jericho writes, Stacey Dash, Fox News eye candy, huh, Nate? Question mark, LOL. Yes, she is. She's not in my fantasy file, so, what else can I say? Cruther writes, if Trump wins, ... then America gets what it deserves. That's right. You're right about that. Much like with the O.J. Simpson trial. I still think O.J. was guilty. I don't care what nobody says. And oh, by the way, shout out to Cuba Gooding Jr., if I can get it out. I ain't perfect, but the flow's still superlative. Shout out to Cuba Gooding Jr. Who knew he could still act? Who knew? I mean, after Jerry Maguire, what the hell has he done? I thought he was going to do Radio 2. Okay? So glad to see that Cuba Gooding Jr. can still act. He plays O.J. Simpson in O.J. versus, is it O.J. versus America? Okay, I can't recall the title. I've seen at least one episode. It was good. It was good. It was compelling. O.J. was guilty. Had he gone to jail, that would have been what he deserved. Since America set up a racist legal system and he played it, that's what America deserved, much like with Donald Trump. But I don't think that Donald Trump will win. Donald Trump is becoming a lightning rod. And every time he says something out there, I believe that he puts another vote on the other side. I believe that if Donald Trump wins the Republican nomination, he goes up against, it looks like it's going to be Hillary Clinton, so it is what it is. Get ready for the ride. I believe he's going to drive people out to vote for the Democrat candidate. That's just what I believe. And it's based upon the poll numbers, folks. Check it out for yourself. Again, realclearpolitics.com. Check it out for yourself. Kashana writes, good morning. Yes, the pushing and shoving of the young lady in Louisville was terrible. John writes, I don't see the same people that put hope and change in the White House voting for an old white guy. Eric writes, Nate, did you hear about Bun B the rapper in politics? No, I did not. Tell me more, Ed. Big Ed. Rhonda. A lot of black people have not did their homework on Hillary and Bernie. They just going by his age and her media fame. You're right. I asked the question earlier. Why is it that it appears that so many black people, they're not even giving Bernie Sanders a chance? And she says it's because of his age, and that plays a role. Although, hey, listen, the Republicans didn't hold that against Ronald Reagan. Okay? They didn't hold that against Ronald Reagan, but I agree with you. His age, some people might use it against him. Because there's a difference between being like in your 60s and, you're fit, and then being in your 60s and you look like you're on your way out. And Bernie Sanders, I'll be honest with you, he looks like the latter. I'm just saying looks. I mean, he might be healthier than me. I don't know. Corey writes, K. Michelle endorsed her and Twitter went on her. Yeah, K. Michelle playing the big game of politics. See, K. Michelle is in it to win it. She's trying to create media allies. She ain't just trying to do the music business. She said, I ain't going back to Alabama. I'm here to win it. I ain't mad at her. And I'm not really sure how much a K. Michelle endorsement really means. I mean, people are calling Hillary fake, and K. Michelle has had a fake ass. So I'm not really sure if that helps her. I ain't really sure. Good morning, Letty. She writes, realistically, speaking of Bernie Sanders, I think his age has something to do with it. I believe people are counting on Hillary since POTUS made history. The people want Hillary to make history in spite of what her and Bill had done to us. Folks is not connecting to Bernie, just my opinion. I agree. There's a lot of women, and again, I'm going to call out women. There's a lot of women who are going to vote for Hillary Clinton just because she's a woman. Just because. And it's up to you to decide whether you think that's a legitimate reason or not. I'll let you make that decision. Brent writes, Bernie is only 5 years older than Hillary Clinton. Really? He looks much older than that. I mean, I'm not going to tell the brother to dye his hair or nothing like that, but, I mean, damn, he could have went to Supercuts and got like a little comb over or something like that. At least appear to be hip. A new wardrobe or something like that. I mean, I've seen older dudes that look pretty Jew-Q-ish. You know what I'm saying? Brian writes, beautiful day in the neighborhood. Yes, it is. I'm looking at the clouds in the sky right now in the city of Cincinnati. It looks like it's going to be a beautiful day. Cherish writes, the brain isn't fully developed until the age of 25. That's what I've read as well, Cherish. That's right. I was speaking earlier about the fact that in the state of Ohio, now some people are questioning whether the young man who was at the center of the most recent school shooting here in the state of Ohio, if he should be charged as an adult. And for me personally, if you're 15, you should be charged as a juvenile, white or black. And it doesn't really matter the severity of the crime. I mean, 15 is 15. 16 is 16. John writes, Trey Pierre Hummins was an adult by age, but I guarantee he was not thinking like an adult. James writes, Sheriff Richard Jones is pushing for him to be tried as an adult, but we've heard from him before on many issues. Tiffany writes, everyone should make time to watch Investigation Discovery series Hate in America. The latest episode, titled Klan on Trial, is a full episode online right now. Cherish writes, some teachers are scared of their students. That's right. You've got some teachers that are terrified of their students. And I don't think that those are the kind of people in those kind of scenarios that should have a firearm. I'm telling you. Brent writes, most teachers are white in predominantly black schools and have no idea of their culture. Okay, there's a racial angle. Well, it appears that he's right. I don't have all of the numbers, but there was a recent study that concluded that black males only make up 2% of teachers, right? The teacher pool in terms of public schools in the country. Now, if that's true, then that answers a lot of questions about the school to prison pipeline. It really does. Gerald writes, mass shootings are merely a byproduct of the American gun culture. There is nothing you can do about it but pray that you are not around when a fool with a gun goes fool with a gun. I like that. Fool with a gun goes fool with a gun. Well, I disagree on some levels, but I have to acknowledge it on some levels as well. And here's what I mean. Gerald writes, mass shootings are merely a byproduct of the American gun culture. Well, then we need to attack the American gun culture. I'm telling you, the last hurdle is holding the gun manufacturers more accountable for the merchandise, for the products, right, for the weapons that they are producing. You know, there has to be more of a conversation, okay? Now, a lot of people disagree with me. I've had a lot of disagreements with black people about this over the years. And I just think it's because most people are not conditioned, most people are not trained to think outside the box, okay? So this is out of the box thinking. Hold the gun manufacturers more accountable. But Gerald is right. I mean, in a country where guns are so readily available, where the police can't be on every street corner, the police respond after there is a crime. Typically, they're not there beforehand. So it really is every man for themselves. I hate to put it to you like this, but wherever you are right now, if you're in the city of Cincinnati, state of Ohio, I got a lot of listeners who are listening in Philadelphia. Shout out to my Philadelphia listeners. I got a lot of folks who are listening in Michigan. Shout out to my Michigan listeners. Wherever you are in the country right now, then what you need to understand is that anything can happen anywhere. Anything can happen anywhere. And I've asked the question many times before, which offers more protection, God or guns? You got a lot of religious folks who are packing heat because God is showing up late these days. Now, maybe he's overwhelmed by massive emails, or I don't know, maybe there's a work strike, okay, because the angels want to be unionized. I'm not sure what it is. But God ain't showing up like he did in the Bible, okay? So it's every man for himself. I get you. But I say attack the gun culture. I mean, listen, think about the gun culture. The gun culture is so deep in this country that everybody attacks hip hop because they say, well, you know, these young folks, they talking about violence, they talking about guns. But yeah, you got movies being made every single day where a weapon is one of the co-stars. You know what I'm saying? A weapon is one of the co-stars. You know what I'm saying? Some of these weapons, a Glock will get an Oscar before some of these black actors because it's getting more screen time. That's the gun culture. That's right. You have weapons, Glocks, Berettas, you name it, AK-47. I'm not sure what the AR-15s, whatever the latest exotic gun is. There are guns that get more screen time than black actors and actresses. It's the gun culture. Start there. What else here? Letty writes, that's right. They must be treated with respect at all times, even when they are defiant. She's talking about young people. She's talking about students working in school. Students interacting with adults. Rhonda writes, even with the permit, they cannot bring it inside the school building. I know, Rhonda. I know. By the letter of the law, they're not supposed to take it. I'm speaking to teachers. They're not supposed to take it inside the school building. My spider sense tells me that there are teachers doing it anyway. They're doing it anyway. Letty writes, I agree, Nathan. Teachers should not be carrying a gun, ... To me, that borrows trouble. I'd rather use martial arts self-defense techniques. You know, martial arts is good. But if somebody confronts you with a gun, I mean, kung fu versus a gun? I mean, in the movies, kung fu might win. In real life, you tell me. What else here? James writes, if trained officers lose their cool, a teacher would be the worst thing possible. Good point, James. Excellent point. Think about it. You have trained officers, and we've seen the video, and they lose their cool, as James put. That's an excellent point, bro. It's a great flow. It's a great flow. Excellent flow. He's absolutely right. If trained officers who go through 80, 90, 100 hours of training, okay, if that is the case, if they lose their cool in the moment in which they're trained, how can you expect a teacher? You know, she got an EDD. She got a master's of education. He's got a master's of education. Most cases a she. You know, she's not trained. Teachers not trained for those kind of intense situations. I mean, I've seen teachers break down because they were dealing with so-called difficult students.